Hello and welcome to The Long Play, where we listen to some of the world's greatest albums. It's a little bit like a book club, but there's no books.
Hey, Tom.
Hi, Paul. How are you?
I am good, thanks.
Good. I love that little sign that you've got there next to you.
This was actually a birthday present for Tom from his lovely wife, Helen, which is an on-air light in the style of, radio, but with the long play on it.
You know radio.
You know radio. And you can see it if you log onto our Instagram.
Yeah, we'll do a nice
The
picture.
Long Play Pod.
The Long Play Pod. Come and join us. How are you, lovely listener? We hope this is reaching your ears on a fine day. It's sunny in Yorkshire, which seems every episode it's sunny in Yorkshire these days.
The sun always shines.
Yes.
Up here in Yorkshire. So yeah, this month we're going to be listening to a bit of Radiohead, Kid
Yes.
A. So we had a listener poll, as we do every month, and we decided that we hadn't had anything from the 2000s, from the noughties.
Mm-hmm.
And so we chose 5 albums from the noughties, and with more or less 50% of the vote, Kid A came out as the winner.
Yeah, really exciting. I'm really, really excited to get stuck in to some Radiohead.
Yeah, what's your relationship with Radiohead like, Tom?
The first album I ever bought on CD was OK Computer, which feels far cooler than
you really are.
Than I really am.
Yeah, we know that. You don't need to.
But yes, that was the first time, and I loved it. I thought it was brilliant. Songs like Karma Police and Paranoid Android were, songs of my childhood. So I'm really excited because I don't feel like I probably know some of the songs on Kid A. I don't think I've even actually looked at the track listing, so I couldn't tell you what was on there. But I know lots of Radiohead songs. Do I know lots of Radiohead albums? No. I'll probably listen to the Bends a bit.
Yeah.
And I remember a guy I was in a band with when I was at school, was really, really into Radiohead. So a lot of the Bends and Kid A as well. So yeah, I'm really excited. I'm excited to get stuck in.
Yeah, great.
What about you?
Well, I think I say this almost every intro episode, but I kind of know the
hits.
I know the hits, but I don't know this album at all. And in fact, there weren't many hits on this. Idiotech, I think I knew, or Idiot Tech. Yeah.
What was the thinking behind getting this one on the poll?
I think we were looking at the best albums from that period. Kid A appears in every list that lists best albums of that decade. And
everything in its right place.
Everything in its right place. Yeah. So it feels like timely that we have an album from that decade, and also timely that we have a Radiohead album. And I'm drawn to this one, actually. It is very different. I mean, it's very different.
Motion picture soundtrack as well, used on Romeo and Juliet, right?
Yeah.
In the Baz Luhrmann.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I was living in Oxford when this was released.
Okay.
So I was in Radiohead territory.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Are they from Oxford originally?
Yeah.
Oh, really? I don't think I knew
Yeah,
that.
they're an Oxford band.
I think I just assumed they were from London.
Yeah, no.
Which is very presumptuous of me. Being from London, I think everything good comes out of there. But it's not true.
Yeah, so, but yeah, I don't really know the album. So this was released on the 2nd of October 2000, so it only just,
crept
into the
millennium.
The noughties.
Do you remember the millennium?
Yeah.
Do you remember how worried we were about the millennium bug?
Yeah.
We were. What did we think that? I remember in an art class at school, we drew pictures of what the millennium bug might look like. That was just kind of mad.
Yeah.
What was the sort? Did we think that there was sort of all the computers were going to stop?
Yeah,
I
think so. I think there was. Genuine reason for concern that some computers could only store 2 digits for the year. So when they went from 99 to 00, they might think, oh, we're in 1900.
Right.
So there was loads of work put in, and either it was a big.
We dodged it.
either all that work paid off or all that work was unnecessary, and I don't think anybody really knows. Because the way of measuring whether it was success is nothing went badly wrong on the first 2000.
I think maybe my favourite thing about this is that you actually had a proper answer for me. Because I genuinely thought it was just like a load of ho-ho, which didn't really exist and was just like, a sort of, what do they call it? Like an old wives' tale that got out of hand.
No. I mean, companies spent a lot of money updating their computer systems.
Wow.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
The Millennium Bug was real.
Yeah. So, Kid A was the fourth studio album by Radiohead.
What came before?
Well, it's a good question. OK Computer was the...
Great album.
I don't know what else they released prior to that. What was their first album called?
Pablo Honey.
Oh, yeah. So Pablo Honey... No, Tom.
What, isn't it?
No.
I swear it was.
I think...
This is good podcast content, this.
So, the first album was Pablo Honey.
Thank you.
As I said. Then the Bends, then OK Computer, and then 3 years later, Kid A. And actually, Radiohead were formed in Abingdon in Oxfordshire. So not only Oxford, but the town in which I was living.
Well, there you go, mate.
Yeah.
You were probably, feet from stardom.
Probably.
Maybe you could have been in the band.
Yeah. If only I had any talent.
But I actually did, now I remember, when I lived in Brixton, probably about 7 or 8 years ago, I did a bit of a light test of the long play.
Oh, yeah?
With Pablo Honey.
Ah.
I did a stride piano version of Creep for an audition, which is quite a wild choice.
Yeah.
But at that time I went, I haven't listened to Radiohead in ages. Maybe I'll just download the whole of Pablo Honey and just listen to it for a month.
Uh-huh.
And I did that.
Ah, great.
And then it took me, sort of 7 years to sort of find someone as mad as I was to come and do it. I'm just looking at the cover art for Kid A.
Yeah.
And it's so wild. It's really cool.
Yeah, so I think Kid A refers to, I think they were thinking about what the first cloned human would be called.
Oh, cool.
And Kid A is kind of the name they had for that.
That's quite fun.
Yeah, but this was quite a departure for Radiohead, a kind of left turn. They went from OK Computer, where they were destined to be the biggest rock band in the world, to this album that confused lots of people. In fact, the critical reception was lukewarm, or actually not lukewarm. It was either really good or really bad. They
say that's like a good mark of genius and creative strength, isn't it? That you don't hit a home run with everybody. It's quite polarizing.
Yeah, I mean, some called it a commercial suicide note.
Oh, wow.
Guardian wrote muted electronic hums, pulses, and tones, predicting that it would confuse listeners. And in Mojo, they wrote, upon first listen, Kid A is just awful.
Right.
Yeah.
That's not beating around the bush, is it?
No, so...
It's just awful.
Yeah, some critics felt it was deliberately obscure. I mean, it really was...
I wonder how many of those critics feel differently now.
Well, actually, I was looking up the Guardian review, and there's a relatively recent at least, re-review by the same guy saying...
Did they re-release it or something? Is there a reason why that...
I can't quite remember, but it will be in the mid-month missives. So if you're interested in...
Be sure to sign up.
Be sure to sign up on our Substack, the Long Play Pod.
Do we want to tell people about what's happening on Substack? Because we can't
Substack.
quite believe it, can we?
Oh, so we've got like hundreds of new followers. So subscribing on Substack has been a big thing. Yeah,
welcome new followers.
And we're really pleased. And it puts the pressure on, really, because we're going from sending out the mid-month missives to kind of tens of people to hundreds of people. So really delighted about it.
And for people who don't know what Substack is, could you explain a little bit?
Yeah, Substack is a newsletter platform, but you can go on there and find newsletters. You can also read back issues. It's a place where it's a little bit like a mix between a place for blogging, newsletters, and social networks. So You can go and have a look at different publications. Lots of people, journalists, write on Substack.
It feels like the sort of where we're kind of at with what like Tumblr used to be. Do you remember Tumblr?
Yeah.
Where people you used to just have to find things on Tumblr, whereas now you can get it all to you, so you can sort of refine what you want to.
Yeah, exactly. So you can subscribe and you can get things emailed to you. But if you just want to have a poke around on there,
right.
Go and find us, the Long Play Pod.
And it's highly
Substack.
curated, and it's great. It's great stuff. Paul's making really good stuff. So if you're new, welcome. And if you listen to the podcast and want to come and find out a bit more about Substack, go and check it out. It's really cool. But is there a way that people can interact with us on there? Is there
absolutely? Yeah. So you can message. There's a function called Notes in Substack, which is a little bit like tweets,
or like comments. Or something. Yeah, cool.
So you can.
Great. Well, maybe write to us on there if you're new and listening to the podcast, and maybe tell us a bit about one of the only albums you'd hope that we might listen to.
Exactly.
I'm really interested in doing almost like a entirely fan curated poll.
Yes.
Maybe this month.
Yes.
I think that would be quite fun.
Yeah.
So, but we've got to have people write in for it to happen. So make sure you do.
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to listening to Kid A. I think it's definitely an album that rewards repeat listening. That we were talking just last month about Kate Bush and the Ninth Wave, the second side of her Hounds of Love album, and how that was, obscure and difficult on first listen, but it definitely rewards re-listening. I think Kid A is similar.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm looking forward to it. I think kind of melancholic, sad electronic music, I'm all for it.
Right in my wheelhouse.
Yes. So that's what we've got to look forward to this month. And I don't know so much about Radiohead, the obvious stuff. And there's such a big band that clearly you can't be into music and not know a reasonable amount about Radiohead. But I'm really excited to be listening to this album this month.
Fantastic. Well, I'm looking forward to listening along with you. So be sure to sign up to the Substack, like we mentioned. Be sure to come and find us on Instagram at The Long Play Pod. And we've got a new website.
We have.
All shiny.
And you can find that at thelongplay.uk.
We need to work that out every single time. It's always a bit of a stumble. Either that or we just need to practice.
We need to learn how to speak.
Yes.
So thelongplay.uk, you can find the website there, and there's links to all of the feeds for the podcast on there. But all these links will be in the show notes as ever.
Well, that just brings me to say thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you on the other side. And just remember,
no skipping,
no shuffling.
Thanks, Tom.
Thanks, Paul.